Hey guys, welcome to another All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today, we're going to be going over some of the bass synth settings I use when I just take my Zoom B6, right? So, of course, you guys know I have a huge pedal board. I use that plus my Zoom B6, but sometimes when I'm on smaller gigs, I'm not trying to take $2,000-3,000 worth of pedals. So, I like to have some synths available on my Zoom B6, which I can just take that and my bass and roll out. And if whatever backline they got, if I need to run rigs, I can run rigs. If I need to run synths, I can run synths. I can do everything from my Zoom B6. So here we go. Here's my bass dry. At least this is the tone I'm going with. For most of the settings, for the synth stuff, it's more of a mid-tone range. So, as you can see, it's not a lot of bottom there. Right off the bat, but that's because some of the first settings I'm using are octavers, octave down, and that's going to help me get a lot of that synth tone. So we're going to start with my Boss OC3 simulation I have on here. So and of course you can add a little booty. Now with this particular setting, let's get into it. I hate when it does that. I wish they do an update to fix that zoom. Thank you. Appreciate you. But so first things up, we have a bass analog octave down. And so as you can see, I have the octave down on 65, everything on 0. From there, let me turn some of this other stuff off. Boop, boop, boop. Everything off. No, I don't. So as you can see, it tracks pretty well. It does track pretty well. You just gotta play cleanly, make sure you're doing proper string muting, things like that. And of course, where you play, your EQ of your bass, things like that have a real effect on the sound of it. playing further on the neck is going to give you more booty. Playing towards the bridge is going to give you more of the mid-range in there, you know. So just depends on your sound preference, but that's my setting for that. Then I have a Z-Tron on there, which is an electro-harmonics envelope filter emulation. Those are my settings for that. This is a little bit of that. So it even glitches like a OC3 in mono mode or OC2 in mono mode, you know. So I like it a lot. That Octaver, but you add the C-Tron, it adds a little bit more to it. Then got this vibe on here. Here's the settings for that. Gives you a nice vibrato sound. Get you in that Yannick Guazdala territory. So as you can see, it's a very nice sound there. And as you can see, I skipped over this RC boost, which is like a distortion overdrive type thing. But it adds a little bit of grit to the sound when I need it, you know, just to give me a variation with the sound, since, you know, I can use this like a pedal board and switch things on and off as I need them. So gives you a nice grit to it, just a little bit of something. And of course I have a volume pedal, but you guys don't really need to hear a volume pedal. It just literally, you can add swells. Or decrescendos. So, volume pedal. And then I have this send on here for when I want to split the sound to go to my amps. When I'm using just the Zoom B6, I might be using my amp models, my full rigs, or just my IRs to go to the system. So I have all these set up with a send as well, just so it's in line with the rest of my patches as I'm switching through all my gig patches. I'm not worried if it has a send on it or not. Going to my amp, you know, during the show. So these are my how I set that up with my send, and so I just run an XLR to the PA or the wherever they, the house, and I run my quarter inch to my amp from the send on the Zoom B6. That way it separates them. Just for how I have other patches set up, where I'm only using the preamp from the Zoom B6, and that's going to my amp. But then the IR that's coming after that is only going to the PA, and the send is what divides that for me. So this is that setting, all together. Very close to an OC2, OC3, OC5, OC4, all those, whatever. I don't know why I always skip over OC4. Nobody really bought that one, I guess. you know. But moving on, we have my kind of, like Moog synth setting. And of course, on the Zoom B6, you also have things like the DI types. So the DI types affect the sound, as well. So, I have a tube 1, tube 2, solid state 1, solid state 2. So let's hear tube 1 with this. Tube 2. Solid state 1. And solid state 2. Without any of them. And while we're on that, just a tip. Some people are confused why the effects bypass has two different settings. So one bypasses all the effects, but still leaves the DI on. So you can literally bypass all these effects and still have the DI affecting your sound. So if I press it once, I still have the DI type on. So that was all four of them. But if you press it again, it bypasses everything, even the DI types. So some people don't understand why that switch is. They think it's redundant. It's not. The reason you have to press it twice is because you bypass just the effects when you press it once, and you still have the DI types that you can use, and probably the global EQ as well. But when you press bypass all, it bypasses everything. So you press it twice, it bypasses everything. Press it once, it bypasses the effects and the chain you see on the screen there. So let's move on. Let's break this down. All right. So we just used the bass octave effect on this one because basically when you're using something like this Z synth, which is a bigger effect, as you can see, it's bigger than all the other effects for a reason because it takes up about the space of two of the other smaller looking effects. So the bass octave doesn't use as much processing power as some of the other one. As you can see, it only takes 9%. So that gives me a ton of more room versus using the bass analog octave, which we used for the last one, which is 30%, or the bass mono pitch, which is 20%, and the bass poly shift, which is 35%. But it sounds amazing. I have a patch with that as well. So let's go back here. Get these settings. So, even though it's only using 9%, it still tracks reasonably well. Yeah, not the best, but it tracks reasonably well, especially when you're playing single notes. So those are my settings for that. Then we add the Z synth. It's one of my favorite synth pedals on here. This one, and there's another one. But let's check some of this out. So, very nice sounding synth. It's very versatile. As you can see, you have a ton of settings, everything from the frequency range, decay, resonance, everything. You see it on the screen. You don't need to go through everything. So, then we add on another Ztron, and these are the settings I'm using for that. as you can see, it's very nice. You know, of course, if you add a volume pedal and a send, it's the same thing as before. You can add swells. So, you can do a lot with that. And you can change the dynamics of it. You can, change in the envelope of the sound with your foot. Basically, via the volume. Definitely changes the sound as well, as you can see. And of course, you can do little things like instead of having that pedal volume there, you can choose to have a slow attack or something of that nature. See, you just changed the whole thing. I just changed the whole game for y'all. Just changing it to a slow attack. And that's something you don't have to control, but you can control the time. If you want it to come in faster, you can change the curve and the tone of it. So, little things like that you can play around with, change, and of course, I have my Z-Tone settings on this as well. I might just keep that like that, you know what I'm saying? So, you can have it like that or have the volume pedal where you can do it manually and you can control which way it's going, up or down, all those different things matter, you know. So, just some tips and tricks for, Zoom B6 synth type stuff. And you can assign these to different pedals and, you know, you can have that. So when you're in play pedal board, effect pedal board on the, or effect board on the actual pedal, you can turn that on and off. So I'll disconnect this from there, put that there, and put that there. Now I can turn things on. You set it to a very quick. So even if you wanted to just change the whole tonality of it, just by adding that slow attack, you could do that as well. So just it's all in what you want to, your preference. These are my gig settings, so that's not going to save, which is awesome because I don't have to go back and redo this stuff. But if I'm on here, I can switch between any of my synths. I can go to my different rigs I have here. It's my 4 rigs, IR rigs, and then I have my actual gig boards that I like to use. With your bass synth stuff as well. Just in a different way. Or my gig board, which is pretty much, allows me to gig, basically. It's like a little mini pedal board. Little nice octave down. As you can see, it tracks very well. So, first thing I have in the chain is this BB bass. The reason I went to this one is because this one, when you put everything on, it turns into a synth as well. So, got the bass BB on there, preamp. Those are the settings for that. So, that's where the sound starts. Then you add the bass octave down. Those are the settings for that. add the Zetron. So that's the Zetron setting. Then you can choose to add I don't usually add the flanger and the chorus at the same time, but here's the flanger. So here's the chorus instead of the flanger. So I just flipped through the DI types there. As you can see there, they definitely make a huge difference in your sound there. So, normally I leave all this stuff off, so I mean it's already. So I can go to play mode, go here, bam, have all my rigs, all my IR cabinets by themselves when I want to use my analog preamps on my pedal board. When I'm basically bringing the B6 with and my pedal board together. And then we're back to the bass synths. So let's get to my big synth sound. And as you can see, these don't have an octaver on them. Here's the synth, the actual synth setting I'm using. So let's peel back some of these layers here. Have a Z Synth, this Avalon um, preamp type thing here. Let's peel back some of these layers. Here's what just the synth sounds like by itself. So as you can see, it takes quite a bit of imagination to get from there to the finished sound, but nothing too difficult. First off, you want to shape the sound, and that's what I'm using this preamp for. Here's my settings. So, that's getting there. Add a little detune in there, bass detune, which is just a chorus type effect. Now you got a much more creamier sound, getting really into the synth territory. And this room actually adds quite a bit of space to the sound. Ooh, that Tube DI1 on there. I love Tube DI on the synth effects. It's amazing. And as you can see, it's also responding to dynamics as well. So, you know, um, it's this is amazing for one single pedal to have your virtual full rigs in there for your bass rig, right? The amp and the IRs that are amazing. Then to also have the ability to split that sound, between two different sounds, one going to your PA, one going to the amp. Then on top of all that, you get these amazing synths in here that are just crazy if you know how to actually build a synth. So, this is why I'm taking the time to show you guys this stuff. A lot of you guys already have a Zoom B6, and you may not already know how to unlock some of these things. So take some of these settings and just tweak them for what you need them for. That's all it is. It ain't rocket science for real. It's just knowing. It's just the fact that I may know how to do this in this particular order and how to get from point A to point B, and you may be a little foggy on it. But that's why I'm here, to make it clear. We're going to get the fan out, clear the dust out, clear the fog out, and get you going. So we're gonna move on from here. As you can see, I got a send on there for the same purposes as I explained previously. All right, last synth I'm gonna do today. My last little secret I'm gonna have for y'all today. That's all. Because I can't give y'all all my settings. I gotta keep one or two for myself, guys. You know what I'm saying? Let me get one or two. Maybe if y'all subscribe and we do some stuff like that, I'm going to have some subscriptions and the Patreon and different things like that if you guys are interested. And I'm going to do an improvisation course. So if you're interested in learning how to solo and be a front man a little bit more than just, playing some bass lines, of course, we'll get into that as well. But the improvisation course I have built is for all musicians, period, whether you're a bassist or not, but it'll definitely make some things very clear to you how to get from point A to Z with the solo. And not point A to point B. We're talking about getting you from point A to point Z and helping you get what's in your head, the ideas you have in your head, and how to express yourself fully in the improvisation course coming to you on Patreon. So let me know in the comments and like and subscribe, share all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let me know y'all support me. And the more y'all do that, the more I can add and build you y'all. But here's this last synth here. It's a saw synth. So basically it's based off the saw tooth wave of the Z synth. So as you can see, it's a drastically different sound than the last sound. Um, let's peel back some of these layers. Um, so, shoot, doo, doo. So, of course, these are the bass synth settings. You know, this is what that sounds like by itself. So that's what I love that synth by itself. It's you can work with just that, but you add a little envelope filter to it. It smoothens it out a bit. And because the envelope filter already has a good amount of texture with that saw wave, it interacts with the filter in a nice way. Then you take something like this is one of my favorite preamps, the pre 1073. You add that on there and add that extra funk to it. And as you can hear, it's even good for soloing. Like you can take that same sound solo with it. If you have an octave, you know, an additional octave pedal, you could run it before that, and that'll give you some additional sounds with it. Um, with these same settings on this Z synth, you know, settings. But yeah, so that's that's pretty much how you would kind of build a little small synth, you know, setup on your B6. You know, that was five different sounds. You know, and in one bank, like I have here, I have four of them, so I can just click right through them, bam, bam, bam. You know, it's no big deal. You know, completely different sounds. Basically, this is a super hack for you guys, so you don't have to spend. You know, for those of you on a budget, you're not stressing over how do I get the next synth pedal that came out? How do I get this or that? Listen, if you just get a Zoom B6, it'll cover you for a while. Um, And no, I'm not endorsed by Zoom. I'm just being honest. A Zoom B6 will cover you. It covers me as a professional basis, and I do a ton of variety of gigs as well, you know, musical theater and all that stuff as well. So this makes my life way easier than trying to take my big pedal board everywhere. You know, I can save that for my bigger gigs that's really paying some dough, or some gigs that are you know, require all that. When all I need is a few extra synth sounds, why should I take, you know, $3,000 worth of stuff? That doesn't make sense. Um, so and it's heavy. You know what I'm saying? It's not, my pedal board isn't heavy, but it's heavy. It's more weight than I would have to carry just carrying a Zoom B6, which is still going to get the job done. Still going to have great synths. Still have all my bass amps and IRs, and still have different pedal board setups. You know, close to what I would have if I had my real thing with me. So you know, it's something you could throw in your backpack. You know, you got all your different sounds for a studio session. You know, it just works, and that's why I personally love it, man. You know, what's going on, bro? I'm glad, bro. I'm glad. I'm glad it's helping, bro. That's the point of it all. You know what I'm saying? Just that whatever information I have, I try to help you guys out with. So luckily, this live stream will be saved for you. So if you need to get back to any of these settings, you can always rewatch it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I appreciate you watching, man. I appreciate everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't need 1,000 people at once to be grateful. You know, I appreciate the one, the two, the three, whatever we got, we rocking with. That's how we rolling, man. But I'm actually going to wrap this up because I don't really have anything else for this particular topic on the B6 today. But you can rewatch this stream and catch what you need. Please subscribe, like, and share. You know, if you feeling a little extra grateful, throw something in the super chat. You know, we always love that. You know, a little tip don't hurt. As we tell the ladies. Nah, we don't tell them that. But you know, we like to have a good time and just joke around. You know, um, whether we doing music or just chatting about music or synths or sounds, whatever. You know, I appreciate all every single one of you guys. So thank you, guys and ladies. You know, I don't want to exclude the ladies like that. The guys and ladies, even though, bass player community is overwhelmingly men. We're gonna get some more girls in there. We're gonna get some more girls in there because I've been I actually have a couple female students that have been really good the last couple years, man, and they're making their way in life, and they're going on to college, and they're making their way, and I'm sure you guys will be hearing of them soon. So we don't want to ostracize the ladies. We want to bring them into the bass community. So I appreciate all of you guys though. Um, You're not gonna get me in trouble today. We ain't going. You ain't gonna get me in trouble. We're gonna wrap this up, yo. we gonna wrap this up for we have a problem, right? But I definitely appreciate every single one of y'all. It means the world to me to have anybody watch my stuff. I've learned to play and do all this stuff so I can have people hear me play. So you know, I'll catch you guys next time. This is another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Please subscribe, like, and share. Follow me on all social media, the Bass Negus, Negus. If you're not sure how to spell that,